I'm very excited to share with you today the first in a three-part series about insulin resistance. What is insulin resistance? Insulin resistance, simply put, is when your cells get overwhelmed by the amount of insulin trying to get through the cell membrane. In its literal sense, the walls of your cells become resistant to letting insulin in. This results in the production of even more insulin. A normal amount of insulin can usually pass through the cell membrane, but when the cell has had enough, it becomes resistant to letting any more in. The other problem with this is that insulin makes us hungry. It is a fat storage hormone. The food eaten because of this hunger is therefore much more likely to be stored as fat. This is where insulin resistance begins, and it causes an elevated level of blood sugar, and increases in snacking or eating can increase obesity rates. Recent data that will be released actually in January of 2022 in the Journal of Clinical Endocrinology and Metabolism found that nearly 40% of young adults in the study of over 6,200 adults from ages 18 to 44 experience insulin resistance. The author of the study shared that the presence of insulin resistance is thought to be a precursor to the development of diabetes or other potentially fatal cardiovascular events such as heart attack, stroke, and cardiac death. If insulin resistance is left untreated, in some people it does not develop into type 2 diabetes. In others, it can develop into type 2 diabetes or other diseases that are more serious, such as ongoing obesity, PCOS for women, polycystic ovarian syndrome, high blood pressure, heart attacks, eye problems, memory issues, just to name a few. Many studies in the past have focused on people 40 and over, as this is typically a time that some people become less active and develop habits that can lead to insulin resistance. However, as the study indicates, insulin resistance can occur at any age and is not limited to one group of the population. New data that was released in 2021 by the International Diabetes Foundation revealed that 537 million adults are living with diabetes, and this is throughout the world. An estimated 44% of adults are undiagnosed. And I'm sure that is true not just for diabetes, but for insulin resistance even more, since it is not something typically reported by doctors from test results, and often it is only reported after diabetes is present. So how do you know if you are insulin resistant, and what should you do? So the first thing you can do is ask your doctor to order some fasted blood work to check your blood sugar, your A1C, and your cholesterol numbers. The more visible signs and symptoms of insulin resistance are skin tags, difficulty losing weight, excessive amounts of abdominal fat, blood pressure readings of 130/80 or higher, a waistline measuring over 40 inches in men and over 35 inches in women, high triglycerides with a fasting measure of over 150 milligrams, and low HDL cholesterol, also known as good cholesterol, under 40 milligrams in men and under 50 milligrams in women. So what can we do about insulin resistance, right? Not everyone with insulin resistance develops diabetes. However, if we find that we are insulin resistant, we certainly can look at some lifestyle changes that can help us to reduce the amount of insulin resistance that we have. So daily choices such as, what are the macronutrients that you're eating? How much carbohydrates are you eating every day? How much protein, how much sugar is hidden in foods that you are eating? Alcohol, processed and chemically laden foods can, just make us more toxic and have us hold on to things that we don't want to have in our body. It's looking at old habits and patterns that we have and trying to find new ways of thinking about how we would like to grow old gracefully and have vitality and energy. And so we want to look at decreasing cravings and increasing the strength of our metabolism. So if you've been doing the same thing for a long time and getting the same results, then it's time to look at changing some of those things. These are things within our control. Just to recap, insulin resistance is developed at the cellular level, and it occurs when there is too much insulin in the cell in the bloodstream, and the body just keeps producing more because the cell needs it. However, it won't be let in when the body has an excessive amount of insulin and glucose in it. Since insulin is a fat storage hormone, this can make you feel hungry all the time, and the increase in snacking can increase the glucose in the bloodstream and the insulin, and so it just keeps going on. If left untreated, insulin resistance can result in much more serious diseases such as type 2 diabetes, obesity, PCOS for women, high blood pressure, heart attack, eye problems, memory issues, to name a few. And some of the visible signs that you may have insulin resistance include skin tags, difficulty losing weight, excess abdominal fat, a waistline measuring over 40 inches in men and over 35 inches in women, blood pressure readings of 130 over 80 or higher, high triglycerides of 150 milligrams or more, and low HDL cholesterol under 40 milligrams in men and under 50 milligrams in women. Of course, the best way to find out is to have a fasting blood test with your doctor and go over the results with that person. I hope this video helped you to understand insulin resistance and how to find out if you have it. Please look for part 2 in this series, where I will talk about ways you can naturally reduce your insulin resistance. Please like, comment, share, and subscribe to my channel. It really helps a lot, and I so appreciate your support and your time. As always, stay happy and healthy until next time.